Am I under arrest?
For now.
I'm under arrest?
Yeah, I'll explain everything, but before I explain myself to you, before we talk to each other, I need to read your rights, okay?
What am I under arrest for?
Well, like I said, I need to read your rights first. Does that make sense? You've probably heard these before, haven't you? Did you understand your rights? Did you understand your rights, Jeff?
So am I under arrest?
Yes, you're under arrest.
Get me back to the cell. I don't talk to you motherfuckers.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
I've been through the system, buddy. I know how it
you
works.
have. I know you have,
You're
Jeff.
not my friend.
Yes,
All you're
you-
trying to get is some stupid-ass confession, and you're not going to get one.
Get ready for a thrilling tale of wit and deception as a cunning suspect attempts to outsmart a seasoned detective in a game of cat and mouse where every move counts, the stakes are high, and the tension is palpable. Brace yourself for the shocking story of how a suspect tries to outsmart a seasoned detective and it went horribly wrong. In an interrogation room, when you're accused of a crime, many bad things can happen, but only one good outcome is possible. It's against the law to lie to a police officer, but the police have no issue with lying to us. They use various tactics, like repeatedly accusing and questioning us, to put pressure on us until we can't take it anymore. Because of this, it's not surprising that many people end up confessing to crimes they didn't commit in the US justice system. This makes it seem like more crimes are being solved, but it unfairly puts a lot of innocent people, especially more people of color and those with mental illness, in prison. Amid this terrible situation, there's an unlikely hero, a young man named Jeff, who has become famous on the internet. Nearly 10 years ago, something important started happening to a person called Jeff. A video of him being questioned by the police, which wasn't very clear, was put on a website called YouTube. We don't know a lot about Jeff, but we do know some basic things. He lived in Georgia when the police were questioning him, and he was accused of using a weapon to steal something. If he was found guilty, he would have to spend at least 10 years in prison. He has been involved with the legal system many times because he had a strong addiction to a dangerous drug called heroin. Right from the beginning of the video, it's obvious that Jeff is serious and not playing around. He makes it clear that he believes he was unfairly arrested at his friend's house, and he makes it even more clear that he won't talk to the police. The first thing he said in the video was very direct.
Am I under arrest?
For now.
I'm under arrest?
Yeah, I'll explain everything, but before I explain myself to you, before we talk to each other, I need to read your rights, okay?
What am I under arrest for?
Well, like I said, I need to read your rights first. Does that make sense? You've probably heard these before, haven't you? Did you understand your rights? Did you understand your rights, Jeff?
So am I under arrest?
Yes, you're under arrest.
Get me back to the cell. I don't talk to you motherfuckers.
Okay, fair enough.
But instead of listening to his request and letting him have a lawyer, the police kept bringing him back to the interrogation room for the next 8 hours. This showed how the police tried to make people reveal information that could get them in trouble, like telling them about what happened, on hinting that they were involved in something wrong. What's interesting is that it also taught a lesson on how to protect yourself from saying anything that could make you look guilty, even when facing serious charges and potential punishment. People first came across this video on Reddit last year. Since then, Jeff's story has been shared often on the internet, most recently in a video analysis by a true crime YouTube channel called JCS. That video has gotten more than 2.5 million views, and in the comments, fans are applauding Jeff for being able to outsmart the people questioning him. Even though he looks like he's going through a lot of discomfort from heroin withdrawal, at one point he even starts vomiting into a trash can. People on the street might say, all cops are bastards, but Jeff's story shows us how that kind of behavior unfolds in a more detailed way. Because of Jeff's previous actions, he knew that saying the wrong things could lead to serious consequences. In the video, it's clear that the police officers are aware of Jeff's past and his weakened condition due to withdrawal. 2 hours after his first questioning, Jeff is brought back to answer the same basic request from a detective to share his side of the story. By this point, Jeff is extremely surprised and frustrated, and he emphasizes that he refuses to talk to the police.
I didn't commit no armed robbery, and y'all ain't got no fucking evidence saying I did. Let me go. All you did is find me sitting in my buddy's house because my fucking buddy's dog's going ape shit. I go outside. There are cops everywhere, and they spotlight me. They say, come here. I say, what's up? They search me. They ain't find nothing.
The detectives are pretending to be friendly and understanding towards Jeff, giving him a can of Coke whenever they bring him back into the small room to ask him more questions. However, they are actually mistreating him, especially since he is already feeling unwell. At one point, they even tell Jeff that they have done this before and can do it again. Jeff says that he will cooperate in exchange for another Coke and a Butterfinger chocolate bar. Before long, he finds himself back in the interrogation room, this time with a different detective and another soda. This new detective decides to be tough and intimidating. He boasts, saying that he has a lot of physical evidence against Jeff. Jeff quickly replies, asking for specifics. He challenges the detective to name the pieces of evidence he claims to have, repeating the request insistently. It's not surprising that the police officer chose not to defend the claim of evidence. At one point, the officer mentioned he could speak positively to Jeff's parole officer.
No, anything I say here can and will be used against me.
Sure, but anything you say here, I can also tell your parole officer that you helped me out.
That doesn't mean dick.
Jeff cleverly responded by saying that it doesn't mean anything. Towards the end of the interrogation, Jeff made a funny and sharp comment about a Butterfinger candy bar that was promised to him. It's unlikely that he actually got the candy bar.
I half-assed know that the only reason I came up here is to get a fucking Coke.
Okay.
And I got it, but now I want a Butterfinger.
But that's not going to happen for a while.
But records show that he was released from the Georgia Police Department 12 hours later. During the interrogation, the police tried different techniques to get him to admit things, but Jeff didn't give in. The interesting part about Jeff's story is that it seems like the police don't actually have any solid evidence against him, which adds to the fascination and intrigue surrounding his case. The pressuring of innocent people through painful questioning is not an uncommon occurrence in law enforcement. In the real world, many individuals make errors and end up being wrongly convicted because they say things under extreme pressure. There are countless reasons why false confessions happen, but one undeniable fact is that it occurs too frequently in America. The police often resort to lies, using confusing statements and implied language to manipulate and trick the people they interrogate psychologically. Investigators struggle with their personal biases while assessing the situation. Merely suspecting someone of guilt can significantly influence an interrogation, resulting in a series of policing mistakes that ultimately lead to a false conviction. Detectives are still taught misleading techniques, such as how to interpret body language to determine guilt or use cunning questions to corner people in conversation. Many law enforcement agencies follow a method called the Reid technique, which was created by a former police officer and psychologist named John E. Reid in the 1950s. He developed this technique after getting inspired by a confession he obtained while investigating a man who had killed his wife. However, scientific studies in psychology have actually revealed that various factors can cause someone to confess to a crime they did not commit. Interestingly, the very case that inspired Reid's technique fell apart when it was later discovered that the confession was false, resulting in the sentence of life imprisonment being overturned. Even today, false confessions induced by police are the main reason why innocent people end up in prison. After Jeff was released, it's not clear what exactly happened to him. However, his old YouTube channel provides updates on recent incidents where he has had problems with the law in Missouri. If this is the same person we're talking about, it's evident that he still doesn't trust the police and is quite knowledgeable about his rights when it comes to dealing with them. But there's an important lesson for us all to learn from this situation. It's that the police will try to manipulate and pressure you if they believe you're guilty. Even though Jeff might have been just an ordinary drug addict in Georgia, he didn't fall for the tricks used by the police. He understood that their goal was to secure a conviction rather than find a real solution to the problems at hand. And there you have it, a captivating tale of deception, betrayal, and an epic failure that will leave you questioning the limits of human cunning. This thrilling cat and mouse chase took us on a roller coaster ride of twists and turns as a suspect attempted to outsmart a seasoned detective.
Hi, ma'am. This is Scott Sunford. I was robbed last weekend. Anyways, after the robbery, I had an ADT alarm system installed, and they put it on a 1-week trial period where if anything went off, nobody would respond. I had 3 census trips, and I've been out of town with family for a funeral. My wife was home, and I
Okay, did somebody break into the residence?
I don't know. I've been out of town. I'm just on my way back, and I haven't been able to get a hold of the wife, so I was just hoping somebody can come meet me out there. It's probably nothing, but I would feel better.
Did you kill Desiree? No, you say no. Do you know who did kill Desiree? I have a good idea that Paige had it done.
In a world of mysteries and hidden truths, there are times when a suspect emerges as a true mastermind, leaving everyone astonished. But just when you think you have it all figured out, the unexpected unfolds, shattering our preconceived notions and leaving us with more questions than answers. Join us as we unravel the captivating story of a suspect who seemed to be the mastermind. And then this happened. Desiree Sunford was a teacher who was 30 years old and lived in Yakima, Washington, with her husband Scott. Scott used to work in the army at a place where military training took place. Desiree and Scott got married in the year 2003, and they appeared to be a wonderful couple. They enjoyed being in each other's company, especially when they went outside and rode their motorcycles. However, there were things that they kept hidden from others, and these secrets were revealed after Desiree tragically lost her life. On April the 7th, 2013, at 8:30 p.m., someone called the Yakima County Sheriff's Department for help. The person who called was named Scott Sunford.
Hi, ma'am. This is Scott Sunford. I was robbed last weekend. Anyways, after the robbery, I had an ADT alarm system installed, and they put it on a 1-week trial period where if anything went off, nobody would respond. And today at 3:24, 3:27, and 3:28, I had 3 census trips, and I've been out of town with family for a funeral. My wife was home, and I
Okay, did somebody break into the residence?
I don't know. I've been out of town. I'm just on my way back, and I haven't been able to get a hold of the wife, so I was just hoping somebody can come meet me out there. It's probably nothing, but I would feel better.
When the police arrived at the Sunford home, they found it located on a long road with no streetlights. Scott was waiting in the driveway and didn't want to go inside the house by himself. He was also holding a gun, which he pointed towards the house until the police showed up. The police found this behavior very strange. They entered a dark room and everything seemed normal until they went into the main bedroom. There they discovered Desiree lying on the floor, lifeless. She had been shot 9 times and had tried to crawl away. The police found bullet casings near her and a shoe print in her blood. The police wanted to talk to Scott to find out when Desiree was killed.
There was a shooting. Right. Okay. What can you tell me?
All I know is that we were called out to your house and that there was a body found, and that it looks like the person had been shot. So that's where I'm asking you to jump in and help me fill in the blanks as far as what led us out there.
Scott explained to the police that he had recently returned from the Tri-Cities after attending a funeral.
Maybe 45 minutes, half hour outside of the Tri-Cities, it was kicking in.
While Scott was alone in a room being questioned by the police, he was talking to himself and trying not to cry. The police figured out that Desiree was killed between 10:30 p.m. and 3:30 a.m. They found evidence in her phone records that she had last talked to her mum on April the 6th at 10:30 p.m. and the alarm went off at 3:20 a.m. The police asked Scott what he was doing during that time. Scott said he was in the Tri-Cities and stayed with a friend named Paige. He claimed that he arrived at Paige's place around 12:30 a.m. and slept on the couch. Scott was asked about his relationship with Paige.
I'm gone and you need to do something, you can. Like, for instance, she had to buy a new car while I was gone. Well, with us being married and her having a power of attorney, it made things a lot easier. So it was just kind of the thing that finally forced us to do it.
The police wanted to talk to Paige to hear her side of the story.
His wife was my babysitter at one point, and we had been up all night arguing and talking, and I asked Marty to come over and get the baby. So he came over and he picked him up, and everything was fine. Scott was asleep.
Paige and Scott came over at around 12:30 a.m., but he didn't sleep on the couch. The police noted that their stories were very similar and asked Paige if Scott had told her what to say. Paige said no. The police didn't have any evidence to hold Paige, but they still considered her a prime suspect.
He's the one that got me the house. He bought my car outright in cash. I still haven't paid back for it. He pays my insurance. He's doing my grocery shopping. He's taking care of me.
During the investigation, the police received a tip that Paige might be pregnant. They got a warrant to check her phone and to see if she was at the Sunford home when the murder happened. However, they couldn't find any evidence that she was in Yakima on April the 6th and 7th. The police were frustrated because they couldn't find answers to give Desiree's family. 1 year passed without any answers. In 2014, the police got a call from a woman named Paige. Paige told them that she knew who killed Desiree. She said it was a man named Martin Grisber, who the police didn't know about before. Paige and Marty were best friends and worked together. Paige said that Marty confessed to murdering Desiree after she mentioned an argument with another person named Scott.
I think that if he was going to say anything about it, it would be because of my happiness. That was always his focus, and his main goal was my happiness.
Later, the police found gun parts at Marty's workplace that matched the gun used in the crime. They also discovered stolen items from another case. They obtained search warrants for Marty's apartment and his dad's house, finding a pair of shoes that matched the shoe print at the crime scene. Marty was taken in for questioning. The police talked to Marty about the evidence they found.
You said that you were suspended from work for having gun parts at work. Okay, tell me about that. What kind of gun parts are we talking about?
I had a gun barrel that I left though.
A gun barrel?
Yeah.
The police told Marty that they had a recorded statement from Paige where she said he confessed to her. Marty said that Paige was trying to frame him. Marty was accused of committing the most serious type of murder, called first-degree murder, and he didn't show any emotion. The police believed that Marty killed Desiree because Paige had asked him to, and he was willing to do anything for her. The police also suspected that Paige and possibly even Scott were involved in Desiree's death, but they still don't have any proof of that, even now. Marty pleaded guilty under an arrangement called an Alford plea, which means he didn't admit to the crime, but there was enough evidence to convict him. He was given a prison sentence of 15 years. Desiree's mum, Connie, said,
more than her mom, Connie.
My heart will never be whole again. Stuck with oxygen to go along with my mental anguish. That's the only thing I can do for her now. Everyone hears her story.
As our journey comes to a close, we reflect on the astounding twists and turns that unfolded before our eyes. Suspect is a real mastermind. Then this happens. Revealed the extent of human ingenuity and the unpredictable nature of the criminal mind. We hope this story has left you intrigued, questioning your perceptions, and hungry for more thrilling tales of mystery and suspense. Until next time, stay curious and always expect the unexpected.